Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I'm living in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Ross Live, worldwide.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live, worldwide podcast.
You want to talk about it? Let's talk. You want to speak about it? Let's speak. We're going to spread this encouragement from the church to the street. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. The Lekeisha Mosley Show. And they talk about nothing but the unseen and unspoken issues while providing encouragement and love and understanding. She talks about issues that people in high places and influences are afraid to discuss publicly. Stay tuned. It's about to get real live. And you're tuned in to the Lekeisha Mosley Show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Lekeisha Mosley of the Lekeisha Mosley Show. I'm so grateful to have you and thankful that you're spending some time with me on this Monday evening for some love and encouragement that's going to definitely provoke nothing but God's wisdom within your heart. Thank you so much to my sister Lekeisha, which is better known as Eternal, for my intro. I so love it. Thank you so much. Every time it plays, it uplifts me, and I know it uplifts my viewers. So thank you so much for providing that to us. Tonight we have an amazing show, everyone. Tonight we're going to have an amazing special guest. First, we're going to talk about our topic. It's going to call Allow Growth Within. Allow Growth Within. You know, it's something about that, allowing growth within. And that can go in so many different directions. Allowing growth in our careers, allowing growth in our projects. Yeah, that's great too. But it's nothing like having God work within us, what he provided within us, that we don't know that's there. I want you to think about that tonight as I talk to my special guest, because we're going to have a great conversation about it, and we're going to talk about everything that's all about him, because he has some amazing things going on, and I know you're going to love it and enjoy it. I have an amazing gospel recording artist, Micah Lee, who is here in the building with me, and I'm so grateful for him spending some time with me tonight. Are you in the studio with me, Micah?
I am.
Awesome. Thank you so much for spending time with me on the Lekeisha Mosley Show.
The Lekeisha Mosley Show. That was kind of catchy. So,
yeah.
It was kind of catchy.
Yes, I know that's right. You know, it's a groove that gets you up, upbeat and into the moment. So I definitely love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. So thank you for your time that you're spending with us tonight. And I know a whole lot about you, but I just want you to let the studio audience know just who you are and what you represent and what you have moving forward with you tonight.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Micah Lee. I don't want to just get into the super churchy response, because, I am on fire for God, and I absolutely love God. I believe God has placed me in a space to touch people. And yes, to touch his people, but I want to touch the unchurched as well, because they're all his true people. And I believe that God has placed me in a position to touch the church and the unchurched. I really have a heart for people who have always felt like the loners, or they've always felt like, because they didn't fit the church mold. I had friends growing up that said, Micah, because I didn't have three-piece suits like you, I felt uncomfortable going to church. I felt as though I didn't cut it, or people were looking at me funny. So I'm thankful God has placed me in a space where I can talk to more than just my church friends. I can talk to people around the world. I am a singer, accomplished, I guess they would say, won multiple awards. I am now a four consecutive top 20 Billboard charting vocalist. That's just the accolade behind it, but that's not the most important. I am just everybody's friend. I go for being a halfway a comedian. I am I'm a writer, songwriter. I am a actor. I model. I do it all. So I guess they would just say a Renaissance man. Yeah, that's just me in a nutshell.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I'm glad that you went in detail because a lot of times, we only see just the surface of what we are as an artist and what we are, proclaiming to you right now. But it's nothing like knowing what God is doing with you right now. He's doing so many things in you and that you allowed him to do.
Absolutely. He allowed me to do because, I realized this a long time ago that none of it is me. I couldn't do any of this without God. And to this day, I say these daily prayers, and my friends and people around me think I'm crazy because I just believe in just calling out the name of Jesus and asking for the things that I want in Jesus' name. And truthfully, I don't think any of it could be done without him. It's through him that I live, I move, I have my being. It's through him that I'm even able to make it through the day because I deal with some crazy people that will probably make me lose the little piece of mind that I got left. But God has graced me with the ability to just stay the course, to just fight. And I think that's, when it comes to speaking about who I am, I think that's a part of me that has resonated with people. The fact that I have this never-ending, unwavering strength or ability to keep going, this push that's inside of me to just never give up on any of my hopes and dreams. I don't expect anybody to give me anything. And because I've never had that kind of thought, I just have asked God to give me whatever it takes just to get it done. My actual prayer, and not going too far off in my life every day now, is God, grant me just the supernatural ability just to get it done, whatever it is. And I think that is resonating with people like, wow, here is this independent, and I don't even like to use that term like that. Here's an artist who has chosen a platform, and he is doing this thing. He's moving, he's pushing, he's doing this thing without this help of this major engine. How in the world can he have a number one song for now 5 consecutive weeks? It couldn't be done without God. It couldn't be done.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you said that, you really have found the core of you. I really feel that, in everything that you're doing, just in, you said, just in all of your accomplishments, and you only find the core of you by going through life, the success and the challenges, right?
Absolutely. It's those things that make us who we are. You can't have, the testimony without the test. People see these victories, but they have no clue the things I went through in my life and the things that made me who I am. Just a little bit about it. I was actually in a major car accident a number of years ago where my SUV had hydroplaned and it went into a canal. It filled up with water. And I remember in that moment, the water came all the way up to my nose. And I remember the very last thing that I did, I picked up my phone and said, I'm going to call my mom. And she didn't know where I was. And I called her and said, hey, Mom, I've been in an accident. I think I'm going to die out here, but just know that I love you. And I remember her telling me, Micah, just have faith, hold on. And the phone, it died, it went out, and that water came up over my nose. And just when I thought that it was over, I saw a little crack in the window, and I'm 6'6", and I was able to swim through that crack. And when I got through there, I remember being optimistic, like, well, maybe it's just a car, I'll be okay, till I looked down and I saw that my legs were crushed and they were floating on top of the water. And when I got to the hospital, the doctors had said that they were going to amputate both of my legs. And that was the hardest time for me in the world. When I woke up from the surgeries, I looked down and my legs were still attached. They said, we were able to save them, but you got a hard road ahead of you and you'll never walk again. I had to have 8 blood transfusions. I have 4 blood clots. I have rods my legs and my thigh and my ankle, pins and screws, broken in multiple places. And that was the hardest time in life for me because I'm a dreamer. And God had showed me in a vision as a child that I would have success in music. And I said, well, God, how can you be who you are and show me these dreams? And here I am. The doctors have given me this prognosis that I will never walk again. And that was the hardest time for me. Well, you know what? I want to tell you I was healed right then, but I wasn't. I was actually in that wheelchair for an entire year of my life. You know how long 365 days is of not being able to move hardly, having to be helped to go to the restroom? That was a hard time for me. But I remember that space, it just really humbled me. But I remember the very first time my mom was like, you know what? Enough of this, you feeling bad for yourself. You need to get out this house. We're going to church. And when I went to church, I was like, God, I just said, leave me in the back. I don't want nobody to notice me or say anything. Well, they saw me. They were like, well, there's Brother Lee. We want him to come up and sing. We're glad he's all right and he's here. And I said, no. I don't want anybody to see me like this. I was resisting what God had for me, even in that moment. And they wheeled me up there, and I started singing, and it's amazing. I say I had an out-of-body experience because I'm literally singing, but I'm looking out the window, and this is clear as yesterday to me. I'm looking at a hummingbird in the beautiful flowers, and I said, wow, God, your world is beautiful. You know, because at one point I didn't think I wanted to live because I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to live like this. And I remember right then, I call it my Benny Hinn moment. I heard the Lord whisper in my right ear. He said, today's the day. And just like Shirley Caesar said, it's just like fire shot up in my bones. I felt my legs heat up. And I stood up. And I've been walking ever since. I started to run through that church. I started to scream that I can walk. And it astonished the doctors. I even ran my first 5K race about 3 months after that, and my healing astonished the doctors. And when I realized, when I look at it in retrospect, I said, God, you could have healed me day one if you wanted to, but you allowed me to go through that suffering moment so I could know that it was not the doctors, that it could be nobody but him who healed me. And from that moment on, it put this drive in me that said, Micah, if you're going to get up and do anything in life, now is the time. You put forth effort and you don't stop because life is short. No man knows the day or the hour, but you get up and you push and you don't stop. And that's what brought me to where I am now.
Wow. You know what? You just ministered to not only myself, but to the studio audience, because
Amen.
Those are answers that we all needed. We really needed that, Micah. We needed to understand, hey, tragedy happens. Well, I will say this, perceived tragedy, because it's really not a tragedy. It's really the process that God sends us.
Wow, amen. Now that's the word.
Is that God?
That's it.
Oh, my God. Sometimes we think the wilderness is, dark and ugly, but really the wilderness is needed for us to really understand, who God really is, understand a clarity, understand, the bridge that God is bringing us to really bring us to our next season. Sometimes we need to understand our next season. And I feel that you're doing that in your song, Don't Break.
Absolutely. Well, that's what the entire premise of the song is. This song is not just a regular song to me. I've written a bunch of songs, but this song is my story. This is my life. And I wanted to be sure that this message got out there. It actually derived for years. This has been in my mind. There was a meme, and you've probably seen it, where it was a guy digging a tunnel underground, and he was digging and digging and digging, and then at a certain point, he just turned around, discouraged, and gave up. And when the picture expanded, if he had just hit one more time, he would have been in a room full of diamonds. And that thing hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, Micah, yes, you've gone through some things. Yes, you've been told no a bunch of times. Yes, people have said you were not good enough. You were too tall. There are no 6'6" gospel singers. You have been told that you don't have what it takes. You're mediocre at best. You have been made to feel as though you are the low of the low. But what if all it takes is just one more try? And God told me at that point, because I thought that was my message and just my story, and I've come to find out that that is the story of so many people. Even tonight, when I went to the gym and a guy was like, "Oh, Micah, I saw your face and I ran into your song and I downloaded it immediately." He was like, "Bro, that's what I needed to hear." He was like, "That's what I needed to hear." Like, I don't know. He's like, "I've been going through some stuff, but I needed to understand, like, Micah, don't break before my breakthrough." And I think that's the trouble with a lot of people, especially with their faith. You trust God, so you say, but we trust him when it's easy. But what about that other stuff that's in between the breakthrough, that through moment? The old people used to say, getting to the other side of through. That is always uncomfortable because sometimes the vision is not clear. You know what you want to achieve, but the pathway is not clear. That's the way to say it. We can't figure out how in the world am I going to get to this space, especially when I don't know exactly what to do. I want to have faith in God that he's going to do what he says, but I don't have the evidence of what it is. But the Bible says that faith is the evidence. Does it say that, right?
Yes, it does.
Evidence. It is the evidence, right? It's the evidence. And a lot of times it's the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And a lot of times we try to look for signs and ways that it's going to be, but sometimes you have to be able to step through some stuff and go through some things and just trust God through that process. And I'm saying this tonight, but trust me, it's still not easy for me. So I don't want anybody to ever think that thing is just easy. But one thing that I do know, that I serve a God who keeps every single one of his promises. Oh, my God. So if he said he's going to do it for you, trust and believe. And I get teary-eyed just thinking about it. If he can come through for me, he'll come through for you too. Everything that you desired, and this is for your listeners, everything that you ever asked God for, everything that he promised you, it will come to pass. If you do the work, and that's your work, do your work, that's having faith. Do the work for the process and just trust God that he is going to do all the rest. It will come to pass. Sometimes that waiting period is difficult because our timing is not like God's timing. If I'm talking too much, stop me. Because our timing is not like his. 1,000 years is but a twinkling of an eye to him. So for us, we try to figure out how God's timing, because it does not work in the plan in which we thought it was going to work. Well, when I was 12 years old, Brandy had an album out, Never Say Never. And Whitney Houston had a album out with It's Not Right, But It's Okay, that album. And I looked at those albums, and just like that, God's always given me visions, even from a child. I said that I would be working with Dark Child. That was 12 years old. Well, guess what? 22 years later, it's when it finally came to pass.
Wow.
So what does that say? God kept his promise to me, but his timing was different than my timing, than what I thought it was going to be, because I thought it was going to happen right then. But then I look at it in retrospect. Well, you know what, Micah? You were not prepared to be in a position to work with him at that moment. Before I worked with him, I've had 3 top 20s at gospel radio. He had to look at me and see some of the work that I've already done to say, hey, let me work with this guy because I see the potential in him. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes we're not prepared for what we desire, but we got to go through some stuff to get that certain bit of education in order to be prepared for the next level that God has for us. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to go through sometimes what the school of hard knocks is, what the education is? Sometimes you got to be prepared. You want the anointing, but don't want to go through any of the things that it takes to get to that space. And I'm going all off, so I'm a hush, Lekeisha. You got to stop me. I told you. think I'm a secret preacher. I don't know what's going on.
You really are. It's not a secret. It's within. But that's what God is good. You got to let Holy Spirit do his thing. You got to let him go ahead and flow, because someone needs that, right now. And you just healed somebody right now that's been lost and that has been seeking the answers, and you're providing them. But definitely, we're going to celebrate right now with gospel recording artist Micah Lee's amazing song, Don't Break.
Don't break.
Been searching for a testimony from your test. The race is near the end, but you've run out of breath. You're exhausted from your struggles, you've got nothing left. Yeah. Well, I came here to give you some encouragement. Yeah. When you feel like you're about to give up, that's the moment he's about to show up. He's about to restart. Say, don't break before your breakthrough. It don't matter what you're going through. God's gonna come through for you if you just hold on. So don't break, yeah. Don't break before your breakthrough. 'Cause God's gonna come through for you if you just hold on. I remember when I thought I'd never walk again. My heart was so discouraged, thought my life would end. But I waited on the Lord and he renewed my strength. Now I'm standing here today, I'm full of confidence, yeah. When you feel like you're about to give up, that's the moment he's about to show up. God's gonna show up, yeah. When you think you can't go on anymore, if you think you can't go on, just hold on, 'cause he's about to restart. Say, don't break before your breakthrough. It don't matter what you're going through. God's gonna come through for you if you just hold on. So don't break before your breakthrough. 'Cause God's gonna come through for you if you just hold on. Don't break before your breakthrough. 'Cause God's gonna come through for you if you just hold on. Just hold on. Well, if you had only one more step to take, one more move to make, you'll never know just how close you are, although it feels so far away. You gotta keep the faith. Don't break. Don't break. Don't you ever quit. Don't break. Don't throw in the towel. Don't break. Joy's gonna come if you just hold on. God is always by your side. Oh yeah, just hold on, yeah. Just hold on. So don't break before your breakthrough. God's gonna come through for you if you just hold on, yeah. Don't break before your breakthrough. 'Cause God's gonna come through for you if you just hold on. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break.
You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Amen, everyone. This is Lekeisha with the Lekeisha Mosley Show, and thank you for coming back. We have gospel recording artist Micah Lee in the building, in the studio with us, and he just shared his amazing song, Don't Break. I really feel like, isn't it awesome? I feel like it's an anthem.
It's
like,
an anthem. Don't break before your breakthrough, because God's going to come through for you if you just hold on.
Absolutely. You literally just spoke it, and you provided clarity for us that, no matter where you're going through, if you're in the, I would say, the beginning stages of your journey, don't break, don't let go. He's teaching you something, He's teaching you a great deal, because there's the phases that we need to grasp. We need to grasp some clarity. We need to grasp some wisdom. We probably need to let go of some anger, you know what I'm saying? Give some forgiveness to some people, I'm transparent. I know I needed that,
Absolutely.
Through my life, Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it's for everybody out there who has felt as though they were not good enough. People have a tendency, when they see you in the beneath them, they're okay with you. When they see you at the same level as them, then sometimes they go to looking sideways. But the minute you get above them, they have an issue with you. And people, I don't know why that's in human nature, but they will have a tendency to always find the negative and will attempt to hold you down from your greatness. And I said the enemy is real tricky, because even myself, he allowed, and I'm just being transparent, he would let people put things in my mind that I would forget all of the successes that I've had before. People will say, you're not good enough. You don't have what it takes to make it. And they'll try to make you forget who you actually are. But I tell you, just hold on and don't give up. Don't break. I thought about, I used this analogy with Tiger Woods. They showed him a video recently where over 50-plus newscasters were saying he was washed up. He's a has-been. Why doesn't he just retire? He's a loser. He'll never be anything else again. Just take your money you've earned and run. What if he listened to every single one of those people and quit? He would never be the winner of the Masters and now again the number one golfer in the world. And that kind of thing is exactly what it is. When God has set you up for something, no matter what the situation looks or appears like, just remember he's going to do what he says. It's just that we got to hold on and go through some of that stuff and take those knocks, take those times that people have said we weren't good enough. And I guarantee you, we may cry some days, but if you just hold on, your breakthrough is coming. So the song has two meanings. Don't you break, B-R-A-K-E. Don't you ever slow down. And don't you physically and mentally break, B-R-E-A-K.
Wow.
Don't give up.
There you go. There you go. Listen, you guys, I got gospel recording artist Micah Lee with me tonight, and he is ministering. He is literally proclaiming God's goodness and God's just confidence that he has all the time. And he's telling you just who he is, and he's telling you who you are in him. And he's letting you know, listen, I'm with you. I will never leave you, never forsake you. And I believe that Micah Lee just letting us know that this evening. And I really appreciate you, Micah. Thank you so much for spending some time.
You know what? And
me.
Thank you, Lekeisha, for having me on tonight. And I have to give a shout out to my main man, Jerry Royce. That's my guy. So
yes.
To you all, and especially to him and to the listeners, of the amazing station, just for, taking the time to even care about what I'm doing. I'm so thankful that the music is resonating with the hearts of people, and God is showing me favor. And so that the blessing to me is that this message is affecting the lives. When people approach me with that, it's affecting the lives of just everyday people going through stuff. Just everyday people going through a moment, and understanding that if you just trust in God and hold on, everything will work out. So I definitely want to make sure everybody knows Don't Break is available right now on all digital platforms, iTunes, Amazon, wherever whatever digital outlet that is your choice, it is available right now. And I guarantee you that song is going to bless your life. If you ever going through a moment, you'll turn it on, and remember, don't break. If you're working out, it'll hype up your morning, all right? And get it. Don't break. It's available now.
Amen. I know that's right. Listen, everyone, you heard him right now. Make sure you go to and order Don't Break right now. It's available to you right now. It's going to bless you wherever you are in your life, whatever process that you're in. It's going to meet you where you are.
You are.
God is really going to bless you. Right. Exactly. Well, I'm thankful for you, Micah. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on the Lekeisha Mosley Show. Definitely welcome you back anytime you have any other projects and any other conferences or anything that you have. Please come on back and share it with us. We definitely want to support you.
Absolutely. And you know what? Again, like I said, Lekeisha, thank you so much for having me. And again, thank you to my friend, my guy, Jerry Royce. I'm so appreciative of him. And of course, thank you. I want to just do a couple of shout outs, of course, to my main guy, Carlton McConnell at Round the Clock Entertainment. He is, they say I'm the hardest worker in gospel music, but I do think he has me beat. And of course, he has me beat. We will work hand in hand together, just working, pushing this thing. And sometimes it's a lot of work, but he does take quite a bit of the burden off of me. And of course, everyone, please follow me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at Micah Lee Music. It's Micah like the prophet, M-I-C-A-H, last name Lee, L-E-E. And the word music. On Facebook, you can find me. It's just my name, Micah Lee. You can just see the guy with the pretty white teeth smiling. You'll find me. You'll run right into me. And on Instagram, where the magic happens, of course, you can find me at Micah's Music. That's Micah with an S. It's M-I-C-A-H-S. Music. And of course, if you want me to, of course, come to any of your events, if you want me to come to your church just to worship with you, you can reach out to Round the Clock. That's round, not around. Round, R-O-U-N-D, the T-H-E clock.cm at gmail.com. I would love to come and worship with you.
Amen, everyone. There it is. Definitely make sure you connect with my brother Michael Lee right now. He is an amazing force to be reckoned with in the world today. He has so many great things that's going on with him. Listen, I'm excited. We're going to follow you. We're going to connect with you. So that's my brother here. Yes, absolutely. So appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
And again, thank you for having me.
Amen. Well, everyone, we're going to go into the last segment of the show, which is Lekeisha's love letter of healing, encouragement, and empowerment. And we're going to talk about Genesis chapter 32 and its verses 24 through 29. Now, mind you, I'm not going to read the entire verses right with you, but you understand what's going on. This is Jacob, our brother Jacob, and his brother Esau, and you know the story. Listen, he's a twin. He has a lot going on, and he was pretty much proclaimed as a deceiver throughout his time on the earth. The beginning part, this was the first phase of his life. He was kind of in the deceiver mode. He took his brother's birthright. He began to pretty much work and toil just to get by, and just life was just not easy. He was blessed, but it wasn't easy because he had this reputation, that was prevailing him. But you know what? God was always with him. And then he had this time within these verses that I just described where he pretty much wrestled with God. And, we understand, wrestle with God. What do you mean? Well, him and the angel, they went back and forth, and he went through a time where, he was desiring more. He was really growing within, and that's what we're talking about today as far as he was allowing God to really move him to another season in his life where he can receive really what God has for him. And I'm just going to begin to talk about the first two verses real quick. It says, Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him till daybreak. And the man saw that he could not overpower him. He touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched, and that's when he began to wrestle with the man. And the man said, listen, let go of me. It is daybreak now. And Jacob replied, no, not unless you bless me. And then the scriptures began to say, well, what is your name? And Jacob said, it's Jacob. And he said, no, you're no longer Jacob. You're Israel. And it's because you wrestled wrestled with God and with humans and have overcame. I know you feel like you're washed up. I know you feel like, you're not moving forward and feel like everything's lost. I really had a lot of struggles. I had a lot of persecution. God, I don't know if I can move forward. And God's telling you, no, I'm going to change your name. Your name is great. Your name is overcomer. Your name is, prosperity. And that's what I want you to begin to proclaim today, because forget the old, because the old, it was benefit in it because you grew in order to understand just what God has for you right now. So I want you to begin to understand just how good you are, that God is with you. And my brother, Micah Lee, he began to proclaim that to you tonight in his amazing song, Don't Break. Don't give up, because God has another season of greatness for you to understand just how good God is. And I love you so much. Make sure you stay connected with us. We love you. We love everything that is about you. We want you to know that God has great works for you, that he is moving forward with you. Remember, you're not alone. We're with you, and he will never leave you nor forsake you. I want you to stay tuned, because we're going to go into the next segment of the show, which is my brother, Jerry Worth Live, and my sister, Shay Sams, as she began to talk with her amazing guests moving forward after at 10 o'clock. And right now we're going to close up because we're over in Lekeisha Mosley show. So remember, in everything that you do, lead with confidence, understanding, and love always. Love you so much. Have a good night.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I'm living in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Ross Live, worldwide.